why people need to do time clocking. Now, if you look at this timesheet, this is a typical paper timesheet. Right, you need to capture time in, time out, right, multiple time in, and then all this. But eventually, the output is you need to capture how much OT you got to pay the staff. For certain groups of people, we have to, the company has to pay extra. Right, because they are covered by the Employment Act, and Employment Act say you have to pay overtime. Right, so I will talk about what this group of people later on. So that's why we come up with this to cover all this. Why time clock you need leave? Because if you're on leave, you don't require to clock in, clock out. So I cannot treat you as absent. You need to know the difference between this guy didn't come to work, I don't have to pay him, or I will take action or whatever. I know it's on leave. I don't need to send a reminder. So leave and time clock is always interlinked. Right? You need to calculate the total hours worked because leave is paid leave. If you don't come to work, I will assume you come to work and work on standard hours. So in our system, if you don't come to work, you will realize that on that day, if the standard hour is 8.8 hours, the 8.8 hours will be added to your total hours work on the day they are on leave. If you're on half day leave, you'll get 4.4 hours. So the system must have this logic to add the leave hours into your total hours work in order to calculate your total hours and OT. So it has to integrate with leave. But if you are on fingerprint, how do you know leave? Fingerprint doesn't recognize leave. You need to do some calculation in the backend Excel and other software, right, to put in leave to calculate. So, but ours is integrated. You don't need to do anything. You apply leave automatically, system will calculate for you. So that's one critical advantage. Then another thing is integrated payroll. So once you got the OT, right, it goes to the payroll with the amount, and then you get paid. So it's almost seamlessly that is like a dream system, right? Employee clock in, clock out, as long as configure policy, you will take care of leave, take care of OT, and then one click go to payroll, one click you pay the employee without having to do anything. But if you're on fingerprint, you got to collect data, check the OT based on policies, 44 hours, 8 hours, then check which is on leave, which is off, which is rest day, and then calculate amount, then go into input into manually enter into payroll, and then go and pay. Right? So we have all this advantage of all these integrated features. So of course we also have the GPS. A lot of companies like this feature because fingerprint you cannot produce GPS, but we know okay this guy clocking from Bishan, clocking from Toa Payoh, clocking from which office, clocking from site, clocking from home. Right. So these are the features that typical system cannot have. Okay. Yeah. So because of the GPS, we are able to see who clock in where through our map report. I'll log into our system later on to explain all the setup and explain why we need those setup. Right, but let's talk about some business requirement. Why do people need to do clock in, clock out, or time attendance? Because under the Employment Act, certain people need to be paid OT. So who are the people? I say below. Who is entitled to OT? Anybody can tell me. If you earn below 2005, you are covered by the Employment Act. Employment Act is not for everybody. So if you're earning more than that, you don't go to employment. Hey, I am entitled to this and this and this and boss. No, this is no. If you're more than 2005, it's your contract, employment contract that dictates everything. You can have no sick leave, no nothing, no annual leave. Right? You are not covered by any Employment Act. It's willing buyer, willing seller. Right? You sign an employment contract. That's it. You have. Right? Don't say, hey, Employment Act say no. Sorry. But if you're earning 2005, whatever contract you sign, you need to go back to Employment Act. Right, you can sign employment and say this contract only 1 day annual leave per year, no sick leave. You sick leave must take, no pay leave. But sign in black and white, no, with the worker. But worker after he leaves and can sue the company. Hey, under employment, you're supposed to pay me sick leave and all that. For the last 3 years, can you not pay me? If you don't pay me, I come complain to MOM and sue you in court. They will still get the money. right? So if you are earning 2,500 below, you are covered under employment, all the benefits. The employment is actually allowed to protect employees. All the benefits there, you'll be entitled. Or if you are a manager, so-called foreman, doing manual work, that will be 4,500. There's another ceiling. When you walk into a customer's office, you know what they need. You just observe around what kind of workers they have. If they are like Raffles Place or in time and so you probably say they don't need time clock. You don't say, hey, we have time clock, we can do all this. You are wasting their time because you know the high earning, they will not be bothered by this. Right, but if you're working into a restaurant or service or some manufacturing site, you see the worker working around, you know, using hammer, using whatever, driving machine and all that, you know, they need time clock. Because the boss will have some kind of system to track it. So you all must be able to smell opportunities. You go in, you know what they need. And the next thing is you go in, you look at it, you know what are the challenges they have. Because that's why I say, oh, you are using punch card. Oh, okay. You know what are the challenges, the body punching or that calculation of OT and all that. You fingerprint, you know what kind of challenges. How many sites you have? Oh, 3 sites. Oh, okay. You know, how do you check leave and all that? If you're on leave, how do people clock in and clock out? So you must know this. So when you go into a customer site, you can smell opportunities. Hey, you need time clock. Hey, these are the way you are doing. I know what problems you have. So when you talk about challenges, you straight away you can actually zoom into. You have this problem. Do you have this? And go into the solutions. Right? But if you are going to office environment, you will not use OT as the thing. You'll probably say, hey, it's good to have flexi hours, no? You can clock in, come in, they coming out, a happy employee, you know, have flexi hours, you can use time for that. And then there's the workflow grants for you, workflow grants for you to cover your costs for that. So that it will be a different angle, right? As sales, you need to switch. Okay. So basic salary is basic salary. It doesn't cover overtime in case, hey, this guy earning 2,000, 2,000, but his overtime and bonus actually is more than 2,500, so it's not covered under the employment. It's not. It's basic salary. In the Employment Act, if you look at it closely, there's 2 types of OT, different ways of calculating OT. It can be standard 8 hours a day. Anything more than 8 hours, you pay OT. Right? That is assuming you already plan out the work hours as 44 hours a week. Like us, we have like 8:30 to 6, 8:30 to 6, 8:30 to 6 every day, 5 days, and then in between 45 minutes break. And then after that, the last Friday is maybe 42 or whatever to make up the 44 hours. So if that is the case, then every day if you work more than the required hours is OT. Because you exceed the 44 hours a week. But in some industry, some sectors, they are not going on 8 hours. So you are also got to know this when you walk into a customers, right? Restaurant, for example, or some construction. Because of security guard, right? The workers is working 12 hours a day. 12. So it doesn't mean 12 every day got 4 hours OT. It cannot be, right? So the company is smart enough and not to pay OT by rostering. They have to make sure they don't pay the 1.5 times more. So normally they will have 2 shifts. Okay, you work 12, I give you off, 12, off to make sure per week is 44 hours. So there is a requirement for 44 hours for those workers. 44 hours. Right, so when you configure, whether you're on implementation, on support, or doing sales, you need to know this feature. So when you talk to them, they ask you questions, you need to know this. That, yeah, it always can be 44 hours because I look at your workers, everybody is working like 12 hours per day, right? I'm sure they have more off day than typical workers. So they will be going on 44 hours. But there is also a special group of people who is not on 44 hours. The reason is like security guard. You schedule, it's very difficult to schedule 44 hours per week. You can be 12, off, off, chow, off, chow. Then work out to be first week 48. Maybe the next week is 40 because of the way you roster. So the employment also cover like 2 weeks, 48 hours. If you're more than the moving 2 weeks, 48 hours, then you pay the OT. So that is one configuration that you need to be aware, although it's rarely used. We have one customer asking for that, but not many company uses that. But basic thing is need to know to do that per day and per week because the law allows you to do that because of the situation. Every 7 days must have a rest day. That's how we know. Everybody you go, there's a rest day. You go to salon, barbershop, or anybody who hire people, typically they have a rest day. Like even a hawker center, rest day is Monday. They don't work 7 days a week. Only the owner kind of shop works 7 days a week. If they hire people, they typically work 6 days and provide 1 off day. But if they have a 7-day week and have to provide 1 off day, means they have to have 2 shifts. So some all this F&B cafe, they will say, okay, I work 7 days, but I need Sunday because Sunday is a lot of crowd and all that. So they will declare Monday off. So every time we go to cafe, restaurant, some restaurant, they say Monday they are not open because they had to provide a rest day and all the workers have to take off. If they don't implement this, they got to do shift or roster, have another shift of people to cover that day. So this other thing is good to know. So when you talk to these people, you can actually advise them if they are not familiar, or when they do this, you know why they are doing this, and they can implement based on what we have. And there are other little things like the break time should be at least 45 minutes long, which is the lunch break. Continuous up to 8 hours break. So you have to provide a lunch break. You cannot say, hey, I want to work whole day, but can I go back early without taking lunch? No. It's not allowed if you are covered under the Employment Act. Rest day, employees are not required to work. But if they are required to work, you have to pay them double the normal pay. Rest day is no pay. You know, you got to know the difference. If you take annual leave, is paid leave. You take sick leave, is paid. Sick leave is paid. So if your monthly pay is $3,000 or $2,000, you take annual leave, sick leave, you still get $2,000. But that $2,000 is assuming 1 rest day per week, right? So rest day is not paid. But if you ask the employee to come back to work, then you have to pay them double. And the double is tricky. Let me see if I have a rest day formula. Working on rest day, right? If you work anything 0 to half day, it consider half day. So you come to work for 1 hour, you are still paid 4 hours, right? At 2 times the salary, 2 times the hourly rate. If you go from half day to full day, you are paid full day. And full day times 2. So if assuming 4 hours will be 8 times 2, you got to pay 16 hours. Assuming your salary is $2,000, what you work for half a day on rest day, how much do you have to pay? So basic salary times 12. What else? So how many weeks a year? 52. 52. How many hours a week? 44. Of course, some companies do 42, so you got to do this. So this is the formula dictated by Employment Act. There's no other way to calculate it. You cannot use a basic whatever divided by 365. This is the formula to give an hourly rate. So if my salary is 2,000, then it will be 2,000 times 12 divided by 52 times 44. Okay, as a month. So this, if you come to work on a rest day for 4 hours, you are paid this time times 4 times 2. Right? That is how you calculate. That's why in a payroll we have this standard formula. Of course, a company can change, but this is a standard formula. Right? So these are the things that explain why company needs to do time tracking, attendance, and the challenges they have to track to calculate OT. There's a weekly OT, monthly OT, and rest day calculation, hourly rate. And there are other, the OT calculation, although you may be earning 2005, you are subject to Employment Act, but the calculation is kept at 2250. So this is a feature I think we are going to roll out soon. So even if you are earning basic pay of 25, you will not be 25 times 12 divided by 52 times 44. Right? It will not be this. If you are earning 25, it will be 2250. So this is, some customers ask for this. We just use 25 at the moment, but we have already done the announcement. I think it's going to roll out. Another thing is employees should not be working for more than 12 hours a day, right, under the Employment Act. When you do rostering, you cannot roster more than 12 hours. Although a lot of security guard company, after this shift, they go to next shift, next condo to do, but it's illegal. And every month, they are not supposed to work more than 72 hours of OT. We don't need that. Okay, some company, I think a lot of company will, customer you come across, they'll say, hey, do you have these features to make sure the employee will not work OT for 72 hours, right? But it just tell me, how can you prevent a person from clocking out? Let's say I've already 71 hours, and today I will work until 9 p.m. I want to clock out. How do you prevent that? You can't, right? Because you prevent that means there's no data capture. You still got to let the person clock in, clock out. The moment the person clock out, it could be 74 hours. So the company wants to pay, but they just want to make sure they don't break the law. So there's a dilemma there, that they don't want to appear in a report, appear anywhere, so that they're caught by MOM, but they want to pay the employee. Some people work a lot more than OT because they cannot find workers, so they get the workers to work 100 hours and whatever. But we still request to say, okay, if they work for more than 72 hours, can you convert the extra into a day off? So that I don't have to pay them on paper or no. So there is a dilemma that they want them to work because they are short of worker, but at the same time, they don't want to break the law. But from our angle, is we cannot prevent the worker from clocking out, even if they exceed. What we can do is we have a report to show them the OT hours. Then you have to handle yourself how you want to handle it. So you need to be aware of this requirement and why we are not doing that. Okay, so this is all about OT. So you know that this is not for all industry, right? Not people in rifle space, not people pay rental of the kind of high-end office, right? F&B, construction, cleaning company, service company, manufacturing are more likely. Right? So when you introduce this to somebody calling, you have to, if you know what the industry they're in, you know what they need.